Good morning, everyone. Well, we're a little bit late this morning. It's Saturday morning here, just gone past 10:30, and time to give you an update, tracker update on the remaining 3 boats sailing in the GGR. Hard to believe, I know, but it's true. And we're also hoping that Igor gets underway again in November this year. So that should give us a bit more excitement later on. And the good news is our good friend Robin Davey, who was found successfully some time ago, turned up unexpectedly in the last 2 days, and it was so good to see him. So there's going to be a session this afternoon of a couple of old blokes going through, and I think the best way to do this is I've got a huge amount of questions here from people for my normal Saturday afternoon question and answer session, but I think we'll go through it with Robin sitting on the side, and he can give opinions as well as we go through. And if all goes well, we will be disclosing the secret formula of Jean-Luc van den Heet and his anti-fouling, because he certainly turned up with a clean bum, and that'll be very interesting. So look forward to that. Robin and I well, actually, I'm not sure. As soon as he comes in, it could be quickly after this. I'm just waiting for him, so because he's only here for another day, and we can go from there. So and we'll talk about a lot of other things as well that are likely to come up over the next month. Plenty to keep an eye on GGR, and we're keen to follow the other entrants coming through to the finish. So Tapio's really got the bit in the mouth at the moment, and screaming towards Cape Horn as we speak, making 4.8 knots. He was doing over 5 knots for a little while. He's got a good solid breeze, as you can see there. That's probably 35s, and a good sea. Let's see what sort of sea he's running. Hit the waves there. Yeah, that's quite a solid sea. That's around 6 meters. So very much Southern Ocean weather, and he's enjoying that. There's no question. He's already wondering what he'll do when he gets out of the Southern Ocean. He loves this place. We'll certainly be having a party. He'll be disappointed, but something tells me, we haven't spoken to him about this, but something tells me he knows he can do better, and maybe he'll be back in 2022. Bit of a subject at the moment going on, so that would I wouldn't be surprised if he turns up. He just loves that place, and he knows that with the right anti-fouling and all the rest of it, he'll potentially be able to achieve what he set out to do a bit quicker. And here's the big surprise, of course. Sir Robert Knox-Johnson, has overtaken Tapio, and this was a position on the 1st of February. Let's see, 1st of February, yes. So by now he would have probably been around Cape Horn. So he's beaten Tapio by about 440 miles. That's about where Tapio is at the moment. If we do a measure on that, let's just check it out. Distance to the Horn now, 436 miles. So that means Tapio should be around in the next 4 days. So we'll look forward to that as well. If we, I'll just scale this back now so we can see the weather that's coming. If we just go forward day at a time, here we go for the 3rd. There's a bit of a blow back here, but it's going to disappear by the time it gets to him. So that's all good. You can see it's headed south, blown apart, and just left him with this constant northwesterly flow. That's for the next 2 days, so it's going to be quite fast sailing for Tapio. If we go through again then to another day, gets a bit more pleasant. So on day 3, you'll still be making reasonable speeds, I reckon. In fact, I'll go up one size, get back here. He'll probably be making 3s there, 3 knots, so it's still slowed up a bit, not going as fast as he'd hoped. There's the 6, okay, picks up again. That's about 4 days. So I reckon by late in the day on the 6th, maybe certainly the 7th, he's around Cape Horn, and there'll be a big celebration on that issue as well. It's taken him a long time to get across, not only for barnacles, but remember he had those weeks and weeks of headwinds when he got past the southern tip of New Zealand. It was unbelievable, very frustrating. But he kept his cool and kept going. He's got an objective, and he's a finisher for sure. So that's about when we should see him round. So that means no more storms at that stage, which between him and Cape Horn. So that's a relief for us as well. Bit of heavy weather there, but he'll be gone by then. It's starting to pick up, and again, it's sort of breaking apart a bit. That's sort of 50s and so on, but he can handle that. And by then Tapio will be up in this airflow, heading up towards the Falklands. I reckon he'll probably, well, we'll have to wait and see, but yeah, he'll make a tactic and decide whether he's going to go wide or follow it through. Generally, I think looking at what's been going on with the guys, I would tend to always favour coming on the inside of the Falklands, and that leaves your options open when you get here. But it'll all depend on what weather he gets. Anyway, Tapio's looking good, having a great time, making the most of his enjoyment and involvement with the Golden Globe race. He's one of the ones that'll have the most enjoyment because he'll be out there the longest. So, the ongoing story of Uku and Istvan coming up from behind to try and catch him. The amazing thing for me, I've been watching Uku get through the doldrums, and he's been doing surprisingly well. Yesterday, most of the time, he's doing 4.5 knots, and it showed virtually no wind. So he's obviously bouncing between squalls, and right now he's getting there. He'll be his distance to the equator is currently, let's just pop one there. I've got to put one here temporarily while I scroll this down. Let's have a look. He is currently only 60 miles, 55 miles from the equator. He's making 3.3 knots, so within 24 hours he's going to cross the equator. So that's another milestone, and Uku's story is quite interesting because I've got to tell you now, it's a funny story here. We realised he was getting low on food in Hobart, and he's slowly been admitting to it, but now he's definitely said yes, he has a food problem. And I'm not sure how serious it is yet. We'll follow that with interest because I know everyone will be interested to see what's going on. But lack of food could become the developing story for the GGR and Uku. You can see here, if we enlarge this track quite a lot, you can see the challenges of going through these squalls. This is his course. Boom, boom, boom. Something's happened. Bang. He's had to run off. Back here again, and he's making way. So that's kind of cool. But it'd be hot and sweaty and rainy and all that sort of stuff. And if we come back now to to Istvan, that's probably a bit big to see what's going on. Istvan's definitely in the trades, but they haven't been strong. So his speeds have been a bit up and down. At the moment, he's making 6 knots, and that's pretty good. If that holds, he's definitely taking time off Uku, but remembering Istvan has to go through the doldrums himself. So if we well, in fact, I'll try. I think it's too far away to get both of them on the same. Oh, we'll give this a try and see if hopefully you can see that. I'll just zap that in there so it's focused, and we'll just animate this at three hours at a time. You can see Uku's still stuck in this the doldrums area. It's starting to look like it's closing up. Istvan's in the trades. It's all holding true. Good directions. Nothing's happening for Istvan, but now the trades are opening up a bit. So it's still like another couple of days the other side of the equator, but look at this. This is the big one. The doldrums are now heading south to meet up with Istvan. So he may have by this stage, this is now the 4th. It's only 2 days away. He's only up here somewhere, so he's still got trade winds. It's going light a bit. By then, Uku is over. Certainly he's over. That's the 4th. So that's 2 days away. So in 2 days, Uku is going to hit the northeasterly trades, and he won't be able to go this direction because that's headwinds. He will tack over on to starboard tack, and he'll start crossing the trades. He won't go on a beautiful beam reach as if you are cruising to the Caribbean. He'll try and hold high because he knows he's got to go north. He won't go hard to windward because he knows that works the boat too hard. And I don't think you'll see him push as high to windward as Mark was. Mark was chasing Jean-Luc. So I think you'll find him close reaching across here and then making tactics when he gets up to the North Atlantic high, which, it's going to take another few weeks. So he's going to be pushing through these trades for a while, enjoying the sail, but it's going to be bumpy. It's going to be wet. And it's going to be interesting because he's going to be hungry. That's the best way to describe it. So this is the 4th of February, 2 days' time. Istvan's starting to run out of breeze, so that's going to be challenging for Istvan. Let's see what the doldrums are doing though. That's the 5th. It's starting to suggest that there's a bit of breeze there, but I'd say it's not totally easy yet. That's the 7th. Okay, all right, he's going to be lucky, and I'll show you why. The doldrums are closing up here on the 7th. The 7th is only 5 days away. Let's say he's making 120 miles a day. That's about 600 miles. So let's see where he'll be in 600 miles. Okay, there's 600 miles there. So at 600 miles, it looks like he might get a ride through. So if this forecast holds, Istvan could be pretty lucky, and he could actually streak through without too much trouble. So that'd make life interesting, because the distance apart as of today is 730 miles. So he's taken out about 140 miles on Uku over the last couple of days. And I would suggest Uku's got another couple of days of slow stuff. He might pull another 100 miles. So by the time Istvan gets up into these doldrums, he could be 600 miles behind Uku. Maybe, yeah, I'd say he's probably going to enter the same northeasterly trades. He's going to be 600 days behind. 600 miles behind. And that's keeping it in the game, because here's let's have a look at the big picture for the North Atlantic. And what grabs me first, here's the Azores there. I don't know whether you can see that. There's the Azores. Remembering when Jean-Luc got up here, he stopped. He basically, when he was here, there was that big hole at 20 degrees north where he served his time penalty that blocked him out for 5 days. It's not there. The trades, the northeasterly trades, have done exactly what they're supposed to do, and they've formed over this zone. So Uku's going to move through pretty well. Then this is, I suppose, the closest thing you've got here to the Azores high. But you can see there's this sort of trend here. They can join up and form the Azores high. It's too early to predict what they'll get, but let's just say now the seasonal transition has taken place. Mark Slats and Jean-Luc were early in the season, and you might see more traditional weather and more traditional sailing. They'll get up here, get the other side of the Azores high, and then hook around into Les Sables d'Olonne. So all very interesting. A little bit of a race happening here. Can Istvan catch up to Uku? Can Uku keep going without food, or will he have to call into the Cape Verdes or the Azores or whatever? We don't know. Uku knows that if it was desperate, he could call in there. In the Vendée Globe, one guy actually opened his life raft to get the survival rations out to stop moving into, or to survive. So watch this space. Still plenty happening. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you sometime soon. I'll whenever Robin turns up shortly thereafter, we'll go into our question and answer session, so I can't put a time on it, and he'll be there beside me, and we'll talk about all sorts of things, including why he got lost. But don't tell anyone. See ya.